What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Elite Manager Mode, where we're taking Steven Gerrard and turning his managerial career into one of the best there is. So we've accomplished the first two goals of getting Cardiff City promoted. Then we moved over to the Serie A and won the league title with AC Milan. We just missed out on the Champions League trophy with a loss on penalties to PSG, but that season was good enough to attract the interest of Liverpool, and Steven Gerrard is back leading his former club. So far, his first season has gone pretty well. We were given Europa League football, and we won our group, so that's good. We'll be moving forward in that competition. And in the chase for the title that eluded Steven Gerrard his entire career, the Premier League trophy, we are 1 point behind Manchester City in the league, about halfway through. So let's go take a look at the league table now. So as we mentioned, here we are. We're 1 point behind Manchester City. And something I didn't touch on the last video is I didn't realize how big of a gap there was between us and third place, which is also Crystal Palace, good for them. But there's an 8-point gap between us and third place, and we're just that 1 point behind Manchester City. We both have 14 wins. The difference is we have one extra loss than they do, and they have one extra draw. And yeah, so that's the 1 point gap, and we can hopefully look forward to closing that gap and eventually overtaking them in the Premier League and getting Steven Gerrard that elusive title. Next, we'll take a look at the team that's got us here so far. So taking a look at the team, we have Luis Diaz, who's an 88 overall rated now. We have Rafinha, who's been playing well on the right wing. Tammy Abraham has come in for Darwin Núñez, who went to Atletico Madrid for £140 million last episode. Musiala has been playing well at the center attack mid position. Camavinga and Fabinho are holding down the fort in the center of midfield. And then our incredibly strong back line of Alphonso Davies, Virgil van Dijk, Matthias de Ligt, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, with Alisson leading the way with 10 clean sheets in 20 Premier League games. So that's looking promising. That back line is looking very good. Van Dijk was an 89 to start this season, and he has gone down to 87, but that's still very, very, very strong, and we're going to keep him there for now. We have Diego Jota, who's played well in-game for us. But he only has 5 goals this season, and I've scored them all personally, so that's funny. And then the other thing here, we'll take a look, is Jenkins over here, one of our youth academy standouts. He had a potential of 87 to 94, and he's a 68 overall, so we gave him the bump. And we'll look to get him into some cup games if we can. So next, we're going to take a look at the calendar, and we're going to skip right over the transfers because I don't think I need anything at the moment. I mean, something could change if there's a quick long-term injury here, especially to Alisson. But anything, I don't think we need any transfer. So even though we have something like 200 million in the bank, I think we'll be good. So let's just go take a look at the games that remain for this season. So taking a look at the calendar here, we have the first big one against Manchester United. We were able to beat them at Old Trafford last season. We have Forest Green Rovers. That'll be a complete second team that get the start there in the FA Cup. Then the big one against third place Crystal Palace. Maybe a little shocking this season, but they're doing well so far. The Europa League game probably will be added around here. We got the bye in finishing first in the group. But then we have this big one here against Manchester City. We'll look to get some revenge on Tottenham. They beat us earlier this season. Just the 2 games in March. A busy month of April where we'll look to get some revenge over Arsenal as well. And Chelsea, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Brighton to end the season. So hopefully we can get some results from this and bring some more silverware for Steven Gerrard's Elite Manager Mode. So without further ado, let's jump into the highlights. So the first highlights will be against another familiar foe in Manchester United. In the 56th minute, Alexander-Arnold will play a ball in. Musiala gets ahead to it. It hits the bar, and then he's able to scramble it past De Gea for a very ugly goal, but a goal nonetheless, and that would be the difference in this game. Liverpool take it 1-0. Next challenge would be at Manchester City in an absolutely massive game that pits first and second place up against each other. Erling Haaland would step up and hit a penalty right down the middle past Alisson to make it 1-0. But in the 42nd minute, the ball will be played to Ousmane Dembele, who scores past Ederson, making it 1-1. And even though it's not a win, a draw at City is still a very, very good result. Now, for the first time, we get to see the derby against Everton. And Edward Camavinga play a great ball into Luis Diaz, who's behind the D. Hits a shot. It's saved originally, but the ball comes right back to him, and yet another ugly goal for Liverpool. Makes it 1-0. And then in the 50th minute, Tammy Abraham puts it past the keeper to make it 2-0. And Liverpool win a big derby match, 2-0 on the road. Switching over to the Europa League action, it was the toughest test here. It was the quarterfinals, with the game already being 1-1 on aggregate. In the 90th minute of the second leg, Tammy Abraham scores right at the death to give Liverpool the 2-1 aggregate win. So we're going to break away from the highlights for just 1 second to get a little glimpse of how we're doing so far this season as the season winds down to the very end. We are currently 3 points ahead of Manchester City with 2 games to go in the Premier League. Switching over to the FA Cup, we have made the finals and we're facing Tottenham Hotspur, who have beat us on both occasions this season. So we'll hopefully turn that around to win the FA Cup. And if that wasn't enough, we'll go to the Europa League. And it's the dream final, as it's AC Milan versus Liverpool. Steven Gerrard already facing his former team in the final. So if we can win the next, 3 if Manchester City slip up in the first of their Premier League games, we could win on home soil against Nottingham Forest. But we have 2 finals coming up and the potential to win the Premier League for a treble. So let's jump back into the highlights and see if Steven Gerrard and Liverpool can get this done. So the first of 3 huge tests would come at Wembley Stadium in the FA Cup finals. And this one would remain 0-0 all the way to penalties, where Diego Jota gets saved by Kobel to keep it 2-2. But Alisson comes up and makes a big save on Son. 4 shooters. It's Luis Diaz who scores past Kobel. And then Brozovic steps up. Needs to score here, and he does. It's 3-3. Next up for Liverpool would be Camavinga. And he puts it right down the middle. Meaning if Alisson could save this penalty from Asensio, Liverpool win the FA Cup. And he does, just like he has been all season. Alisson comes up huge for Liverpool, delivering the first trophy as Liverpool manager for Steven Gerrard. The Premier League came down to the final day after both Liverpool and Manchester City won their 37th game. So it came down to Brighton on the road, and Luis Diaz would chip the ball over to Ousmane Dembele, who puts a fantastic volley right in the top corner. Maybe goal of the season so far. In the 52nd minute, a penalty for Liverpool, and it would be Alphonso Davies stepping up and converting, making up for his miss at the World Cup for Canada. And with just a few minutes remaining, Diego Jota with that incredible strike. We mentioned about Ousmane Dembele with goal of the season. That may have only lasted for about 50 minutes as Jota puts an absolute laser beam in the corner, sealing the Premier League trophy for Liverpool. And now on to the Europa League final at St. Mary's Stadium of all places. It's Steven Gerrard against his former club, Liverpool. AC Milan. And this is the road that Liverpool had. After that West Ham win, it was fairly smooth sailing all the way to the finals. And this one would stay 0-0 deep into this game. In the 120th minute, Luis Diaz squares the ball for Rafinha, who scores his biggest goal for Liverpool. And it surely must see Liverpool to the Europa League title as Steven Gerrard joins in the big celebrations in the corner. And it certainly does Nathaniel Phillips getting the honor to hoist this trophy as Liverpool make it 3-3. So there we have it. Steven Gerrard has won 3 titles in his first season at Liverpool, pretty much cementing him as an elite manager. I was getting the updates as the game was going that Manchester City were actually losing to Leeds but it still doesn't take away from that fantastic performance away at Brighton, the 3-0 win. In the FA Cup, big penalty win, another fantastic performance from Alisson. He's been great all season, stopping that vital penalty at the end. And then, as we see here, the late show from Liverpool, as Rafinha, who'd been a question mark. I'd actually started starting Dembele over him, comes up huge in the 118th minute to win it for Liverpool and giving Steven Gerrard a treble title-winning season in his first season with Liverpool. Let's go check out the stats. So taking a look at the stats, the big one here I want to focus on is Alisson's 31 clean sheets. He got 9 in the Europa League in 12 games, which is absolutely insane. I'm not sure if that's the record. The stat I do know is when he just fell short of in the Premier League with the 19 clean sheets. He just fell short of Peter Cech's amazing 24 in one season, but to have 31 clean sheets in one season is absolutely fantastic. He has 6 assists. That's unbelievable. But leading the way in goals was Luis Diaz. He played very well for us. 29 goals, 13 assists for a whopping 42 goal contributions in 49 appearances, which is phenomenal. The rest of the goals were shared here, with Ousmane Dembele getting 13, Tammy Abraham getting 13, Camavinga chipping in with 10, Musiala with 10, Jota with 8. I swear, I think I've scored all his goals. And in assist, it was Diaz leading the way with 13, but then Alphonso Davies with a big 12 assists from the left back position. Just an overall fantastic season from the boys. We'll go check the guys who are out on loan. Arlo Jenkins, look at 13 overall points. That's because he started as a striker, and I realized his dribbling was way too good. Switched him to center attacking mid, and now he's a 70 overall. Because Nevitz up to 78, which is good. Borges up to 78. Cade Gordon, he went out the loan in the January window. He's a 77. Max Woldwin 69, and Balagisi 71. So the youth is developing very well. I actually had a guy whose potential in the youth academy was, I believe, 90 to 94, and he just terminated his contract right after that Europa League game, so that's tough. But yeah, other than that, the season went very smoothly. So that's what we're going to call it on this episode. I think it's fair to say Steven Gerrard has become an elite manager. But we are not done with the series just yet. There's one more bonus episode coming next week, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. Leave a comment down below. What do you think the bonus challenge is? And as always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode, final episode, coming soon.